hear through these things. There's a couple things that like, I didn't want to definitively respond to, but then I had a discussion we start treating things very special because they're not our day to day. But I'm like, it's really not that special. We suck with conversation, and that's what I feel like my I don't know they were like, oh, making it better. That isn't your secret. Our secret sauce is making it conversation. So, I hope so. I just know there could still be a few trains navigate before we say, do that.
How you doing?
Good, yourself?
Good.
Forgot to send you an email,
Okay.
but on the Lawrence agreement,
Okay.
I think Bob said that Misty had reviewed it and she was good with it.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
So he's
That's
good with
kind
it?
of slipped out of my mind. I will.
So can we get that I think it was pretty close to being final.
It was, and Missy, yeah, she said she looked it over and I think she said it's fine. But I will double check that she's
Okay.
like confirmed.
Because when Bob saw that, he just deferred. He's like,
Sure.
okay, she's good with
Yeah.
it.
Sorry about
No,
that.
no, and I hadn't, we had that conversation a week
Yeah.
ago with Bob, and then I left town, and I'm like,
Yeah.
trying to get
Gotcha.
caught up on things.
I know.
And I think that project's almost done, so
It's still almost done. Okay, good.
like we haven't done final acceptance on it yet.
Okay.
So
For our vendor contractors.
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So I mean,
Gotcha.
at this point in time, like at any point, it's better than never
Sure.
doing it.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Is there anything else outstanding that?
No, I just need to get with you on
Okay.
the other like operations agreement stuff.
Okay. Okay.
But I haven't fully wrangled that in my brain yet either. So
Gotcha. Well, if you want to just send me like a calendar invite sometime in the future to hash it out, I can have something ready or reviewed by then.
all right, that sounds good.
construction. Huh? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Will we take care of them?
You know, that's like. But I told David. So that's a whoops. That's. I got more than one cut. Sabeko, how we doing? Good. Sorry I was late. Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the June 22nd, 2022 meeting of the Board of Public Works. My name is Dan Parker. I'm the chair of the board. Our board members present today to my left are Sabeko Jawanza and Priscilla Keith. To my right are Susie Cordy, Dan Hake, and Nicole Martinez-Legrand. First order of business is to adopt the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? Moved by Susie Cordy. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Sabeko Jawanza. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The agenda is adopted. Next, the minutes for the June 8th, 2022 meeting were distributed to the members. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Moved by Sabeko Jawanza. Is there a second? Second by Nicole Martinez-Legrand. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The minutes are adopted, and I neglected to introduce our board secretary, Alice Strozier, in front, and our legal counsel, Misty Mercer, behind me. David Borden, you're up next with change orders.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, members of the board. I'm David Borden, Construction Administrator for DPW Engineering. The first change order I have for you today is change order number 7 for ST 21105. The Engineering Division staff recommends the Board of Public Works approve and authorize the Director to execute change order number 7 to ST 21105, Thoroughfare Structural Rehabilitation Area 5 for the CJC, with white construction in the increased amount of $166,974.08 for a new total not to exceed contract amount of $9,746,059.86 and an increase of 74 calendar days added to the substantial and final completion dates. This change order incorporates work directive changes number 28 through 33. Brief summary of them below. Work directive change number 28 is for new water service lines that needed to be, instead of being relocated, replaced due to their condition. There was also contaminated soils, and work directive changes number 31 that needed to be remedied, removed, and then disposed of properly. The other work directive changes, 29, 30, 32, and 33, all pertain to either utility work, either allowing utilities to access the site, or for actual work to try and avoid and mitigate relocation costs for utilities. And then finally, quantity adjustments overall, just balancing of existing line items throughout the contract. If you have any questions, I'm happy to try and answer them at this time.
Questions for David on this one? Seeing none, I ask for motion to approve change order number 7 for ST-21-105. Moved by Dan Hake. Is there a second? Second by Sabeko Jawanza. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That change order is approved. David, next one.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is change order number 13 for SD 30065F. The Engineering Division staff recommends the Board of Public Works approve and authorize the Director to execute change order number 13 for white construction for SD 30065F, Drexel Gardens Neighborhood Drainage Improvements, in the decreased amount of $13,583 for a new total contract amount not to exceed $3,165,000 $122.78, with 3 days added to the substantial and final completion dates. So this is just, again, a quantity overrun, underrun kind of balancing midterm throughout this project, as well as the addition of blue raised pavement markers. These are the blue reflectors in front of hydrants that you see throughout the city. Those were omitted in the bid, so we're including those, as well as the addition of stop bars, so the thermoplastic white lines that you see in front of stop signs for safety measures. If you have any questions, I'm happy to try and answer them at this time.
Questions for David on this one? Seeing none, I ask for motion to approve change order number 13 for SD-30-065F. Moved by Nicole Martinez-Legrand. Is there a second? Seconded by Susie Cordy. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That change order is approved. David, let's go to final change order.
This is change order number 3 final for project AL 25164. The Engineering Division staff recommends the Board of Public Works approve and authorize the Director to execute change order number 3 final for Evans Development Company in the increased amount of $4.44 for a new contract total not to exceed $232,327.61 for AL 25164 Chatham Arch Alley Reconstruction Alley 550 East. This is a final balancing change order for this contract. After this is approved, the contractor will be able to submit their final lien waivers as well as their final invoice, so we can come back before the board for final approval and acceptance of this project. If you have any questions, I'm happy to try and answer them at this time.
Questions for David on this one? Seeing none, I'd ask for a motion to approve change order number 3 final for AL-25-164. Moved by Sebeco Jawanza. Is there a second? Seconded by Dan Hake. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That final change order is approved. David, let's go to professional service agreement.
This is the professional service agreement for inspection on project ED 20001. The Engineering Division staff recommends the Board of Public Works approve and authorize the Director to execute ED 20001, DMD Lift Indy, Old South Side, a new professional services agreement for inspection with CTL Engineering in the not to exceed total agreement amount of $623,490.06 with an agreement expiration date of 45 days after final completion. Final completion is scheduled to be on or before December 31st, 2023. So this is a DMD initiated project of the Old South Side on Meridian Street from Wisconsin Street to McCarty. This is a TIF funded project, so a project not funded through DPW, but it being in the right-of-way in our infrastructure, we are managing it. It is for pavement rehabilitation, streetscapes, pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure improvements, stormwater infrastructure, and placemaking, along with other ancillary components. Project is expected again to be completed on or before December 31st, 2023. This firm CTL was selected through RFQ 2022-1, which was the first RFQ of this year, and they have met or exceeded all of the XBE goals for the city. This project is actually scheduled to bid next month, about the 14th of July, and anticipated construction cost is between $6 and $8 million on this contract. If you have any questions, I'm happy to try and answer them at this time.
Questions for David on this one? Seeing none, I ask for motion to approve the professional service agreement for ED-20-001. Moved by Susie Cordy. Is there a second? Seconded by Nicole Martinez-Legrand. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That agreement is approved. Let's go to professional service amendments. Bob Fry, you're up first.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I'm Robert Fry, DPW's legal counsel, here today to recommend that the Board of Public Works approve and authorize the Director to execute Amendment Number 3 to the Professional Services Agreement for Government Relations Services with 1816 Public Affairs Group, LLC, to extend the term of the agreement for 1 year through and including August 31st, 2023. So in August of 2019, this board approved DPW to enter into this contract with 1816 Public Affairs Group. And then each in 2020 and 2021, the board approved extensions. So it is currently set to expire as extended on August 31st, and the department would like to extend it for 1 more year. Estimated expenditures on this 1 year extension are $72,000. With that, I can try to answer any questions you may have.
Questions for Bob on this one? Seeing none, I'd ask for a motion to approve Amendment 3 for the professional service agreement with 1816 Public Affairs. Moved by Dan Hake. Is there a second? Seconded by Sabeko Jawanza. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That amendment is approved. Bob, thank you.
Thank you.
Jane Regensburg, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Jane Regensburg. I'm Program Manager for the billing side of Stormwater. Staff recommends that the Board of Public Works approve and authorize the Director to execute Amendment Number 1 to the Professional Services Agreement with Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions, Inc. for stormwater billing services to extend the term of the agreement for 1 year from July 1st to June 30th, 2023, for the amount not to exceed $369,320. This agreement is for the billing-related services for Marion County Stormwater Management District. Wood services include billing and collection of stormwater user fees from the manual build parcels and for new build and tax-exempt parcels of property. Preparation of data for taxable parcels for submission to the Marion County Treasurer for collection for both spring and fall billing periods, audit reporting, and database management. Wood's compensation under this Amendment Number 1 includes labor rate increases for their staff. Additional hours were also added for second notice billing for both spring and fall cycles, for file prep, and this includes increased bank fees for printing, mailing, and virtual lockbox service. Wood has also added more hours to this amendment. In conjunction with DPW, we started banding together to maximize the effort for the manual billing account collection efforts. I'd be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Questions for Jane? Seeing none, I'd ask for a motion to approve Amendment Number 1 for the professional service agreement with Wood Environment.
Okay, I wanted to introduce two of the people with me. I'm sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I didn't ask for the motion yet, and nobody moved it.
All right. I'd like to introduce our new our program manager for revenue, Sam Barris, is with us today, and John Cisneros, who is the GIS guru for stormwater and measures all the impervious surface area. I apologize.
Not a problem. Let's see. Let me try it again. Ask for a motion to approve Amendment 1 to the professional service agreement with Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions, Inc. Moved by Dan Hake. Is there a second? Seconded by Susie Cordy. Discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That amendment's approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. John Bowen, we're over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My name is John Bowen. I'm Chief Engineer for DPW Engineering. First one I have to present today is Amendment Number 1 to BM 16503, 38th Street over Dry Run Creek. The Engineering Division staff recommends the Board of Public Works approve and authorize the Director to execute Amendment Number 1 to BM 16503, 38th Street over Dry Run Creek, a professional services agreement with Clark Dietz, Inc., in the increased amount of $80,395 for a new total not to exceed agreement amount of $154,395, additional scope of services, and no change to consultant rates. This amendment will also extend the agreement expiration date to December 31st of 2024. And this project is it's a preventive maintenance bridge deck overlay on 38th Street, just east of 465 interchange. The reason for the amendment, we originally went about this project thinking we could use local funds. We actually decided to utilize federal funds on the project, which adds additional effort on the part of our designers, additional plan submittals, additional efforts for utility coordination, permitting, and then also we found some in the design, the MOT was, we determined that we need to phase the MOT, so there's a little bit of more effort in the detailing of that. So this amendment covers all of that additional effort. So with that, I'd open it up and try to field any questions that you might have.
Any questions for John on this one?
I do. Can you identify what the MOT is?
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
The MOT.
What does that mean?
Okay, for the MOT, it's the maintenance of traffic. So when we originally went through this, typically bridge deck overlays of this nature, we can just use a standard flagging operation. However, in this case, there was just not enough room to kind of get the flaggers in there, so we're going to have to phase the MOT and shut down lanes, shift traffic over. So we'll have multiple phases of the of construction, so we'll be shifting traffic over to accommodate the construction.
Additional questions for John? Seeing none, I ask for a motion to approve Amendment 1 for the professional service agreement for BM-16-503. Moved by Sebago Jawanza. Is there a second? Seconded by Priscilla Keith. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That amendment's approved. John, next one.
Thank you. The next one is Amendment Number 2 to CW 25002, Safe Routes to Transit South. The Engineering Division staff recommends the Board of Public Works approve and authorize the Director to execute Amendment Number 2 to CW 25002, Safe Routes to Transit South, a professional services agreement with CHA Consulting Incorporated in the increased amount of $43,330 for a new total not to exceed agreement amount of $943,830, additional scope of services, and no change to consultant rates. This amendment will provide no change to the agreement expiration date. And this project was curb ramp reconstruction, sidewalk pavement marking, sign improvements, all related within the half mile of the Indigo Red Line. And the south part was basically from 10th Street south to University of Indianapolis. This was a federally funded project, and with that we were trying to maximize the amount of money that we could spend and the improvements that we could make. In that effort, there was some jostling of the intersections that we could improve, so this covers some of the additional intersections that we were able to include, so we had to survey those. There was also some additional effort related to the development of the environmental document for the project. NDOT, we had an approved red flag investigation. NDOT changed that process in the middle, so we had to go back, update that in accordance with NDOT criteria. And then additionally, when we got to the pre-construction conference phase, there were some opportunities to make some additional improvements and add to the project to kind of maximize the amount of impact we had with the project. So those additional elements that were identified were actually added to the contract as construction changes, so there was some additional effort during the construction phase on the part of our designers. So this amendment covers that additional effort. And with that, I'll open it up to any questions that you might have.
Questions for John?
I think I'm understanding that this is a consulting to kind of, I don't know if I want to say redo or just look at a particular intersection that is along the south of the red line, and it's kind of to see what could be done better, something like that.
Yeah, essentially it was mostly, in a lot of these were all spot improvements. So it was at the very beginning, it was a little bit hard to identify costs and what we could afford and what we couldn't afford. So as we went through, identified projects, we realized that we could actually, add more intersections and more improvements in. So it was kind of a stepped process where the consultant had an original scope. We kind of identified some other areas that we could address, so we added those in to kind of maximize the federal funding and utilize it as best we can. So more than redos, it was mostly additions that we requested.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I see Charlie here from CHA. So if anybody has any additional questions for Charlie. Any other questions on this one?
One more is, can this help when it comes to maximizing the other lines that we're having come on board, like the purple line?
This one was specific to the red line. However, that funding program still exists, so we're pursuing those options as well to try to identify and help with funding of those other ones. But this one was specific to the red line.
What about the findings that the consultants have? Could that help when it comes to how we're doing the other lines?
Yes, I think so, yes. What they found is, and I think, to get to your point, I think this one was one of the first ones that we had done. So as far as scoping and knowing what we can afford in the very beginning, I think, yes, this one will go a long way to help us better scope the project in the future. Yes, sir.
Additional questions for John? Seeing none, I'd ask for a motion to approve Amendment 2 to CW-25-002. Moved by Susie Cordy. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Sebago Jawanza. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That amendment's approved. John, next one.
All right, the next one is amendment number 7 to ST 25507, Indianapolis Cultural Trail Extensions. The Engineering Division staff recommends the Board of Public Works approve and authorize the Director to execute amendment number 7 to ST 25507, Indianapolis Cultural Trail Extensions, a professional services agreement with Rundell Ernstberger Associates Incorporated, with no change to total agreement amount, no change to scope of services, and updated rate schedule. This amendment will provide no change to the agreement expiration date. And this amendment basically just covers, it actually adds a rate for Rundell Ernstberger for a construction inspector, construction inspection manager, sorry. And basically, Rundell Ernstberger is doing the design. They just need to add this rate for the design services related to the construction. So they're still on board to help with construction changes, so this just adds that rate classification to the contract. With that, I can answer any questions.
Questions for John on this one? Seeing none, I ask for a motion to approve Amendment 7 for ST-25-507. Moved by Nicole Martinez-Legrand. Is there a second? Seconded by Dan Hake. Competition going on over there. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That amendment's approved. Thank you, John. Shannon, we're over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Shannon Killian, Stormwater Administrator. This is for Amendment 3 for E&G 18-027, on-call stormwater design and inspection services from Wessler Engineering, Inc. The Engineering Division recommends the Board of Public Works approve and authorize the Director to execute Amendment 3 to the Professional Services Agreement between Wessler Engineering, Inc. and the City of Indianapolis for ENG-18-027 on-call stormwater design and inspection services, with no change to the total agreement amount of $750,000 and extending the agreement expiration date to December 31st, 2023. This amendment provides additional time to have Wessler complete their ongoing task right now. With that, I can answer any questions.
Questions for Shannon? Seeing none, I ask for a motion to approve Amendment 3 for ENG-18-027. Moved by Sabeko Jawanza. Is there a second? Seconded by Susie Cordy. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That amendment's approved. Thank you, Shannon. Final acceptance is David Borden.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is final acceptance for CL 34046. The Engineering Division staff recommends the Board of Public Works approve and authorize the Director to execute final acceptance for Morphe Construction for CL 34046, small structure replacement of asset LK 6557 at 705 South Short Ridge Road for the final acceptance, total contract amount of $473,396.39. This final change order came before the board previously, was completed in, I believe, July of last year. Everything has now been finally closed out. Final invoices are processed, final lien waivers accepted. So this is just for final acceptance. If you have any questions, I'm happy to try and answer them.
Questions for David? Seeing none, I ask for a motion to...
Oh, I had a question.
Sure.
Is this near the Pennsy Trail, David?
Yes, this is.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Additional questions for David? Seeing none, I ask for a motion to approve the final acceptance for CL-34-046. Moved by Susie Cordy. Is there a second? Second by Nicole Martinez-Legrand. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That final acceptance is approved. Any other business come before the board? Seeing none, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Priscilla Keith. Is there a second? Seconded by Sabeko Jawanza. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? We stand adjourned, and I apologize for being late.